call the meeting to order with roll call of Commissioners Pandya,
Present.
Johns, absent, Kolash, present, Kadora, absent, Priest,
Present.
Lusala,
Present.
Shantz,
Here on Zoom.
thank you, and Mendez Shannon. Is she- Liz, can you hear us?
There she is.
There she is. All right, great. Liz, can you hear us?
Yes,
All right.
I'm present.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay. And would like to welcome our newest commissioner. If you want to take a second and introduce yourself, that'll be fantastic.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm Idris Abdullahi. I go by E. I'm a student at the university, and I also work with the MDC of Iowa as an associate business coach.
All right, great. And I think you know some of us, but let's go ahead and take just a couple seconds, and we'll just go ahead and each person will introduce ourselves.
Yeah, I'm Janvi. I met Idris at the UN, the Iowa UN meet. What was that called?
I think it was like a summit or United.
Yeah, the summit, the United Nations summit. So that's where we discussed Human Rights Commission. I'm also a student at the University of Iowa, studying PhD in counseling psychology, and I do therapy. Passionate about working with refugees and immigrants.
Excellent, great. And I'm Doug Kolash. I'm the chair of the commission this year. I live on the west side of Iowa City. I work as a healthcare IT consultant by day, and also am the president of Hawkeye Pride, the LGBTQ alumni network for the University of Iowa, as well as on the University of Iowa Alumni Leadership Council. Live on the west side with my partner and two kids who are a freshman and sophomore at West. So, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Mark Priest. I'm a retired Christian pastor. Leslie and I live near Willow Creek. I realize that if I tell you I got my master's in theology focused on the theology of Vincent van Gogh, and I got my doctorate in liturgics from Luther Seminary, so it's easiest to forget the titles, just call me Mark.
Roger Lusala. This is actually my second term on the commission. I am the past chair last year, and during the day, I work for the state of Iowa in the Department of Family Wellbeing and Child Protection Services. And for fun, I do coach soccer for Southeast Junior High. I've been coaching for many years. We live in the east side, not like Doug, the west side. We live in the east side, the better side. And my wife and I are proud parents of 7 girls. We have one graduating City High this year. One is a junior. Another one is 8th grade going to City High next year. And we have a few that have graduated college, and 2 of them, one is in the second year at Iowa, the other one is the second year at Iowa State. So, yeah.
Way to go, Dad.
Yes. Proud dad.
Yeah. Kelsey, do you want to go next?
Sure. Well, hi, E. It's really nice to meet you, even virtually. I'm Kelsey Paul Shantz. I have been with the commission for a couple of years now. It's been a joy to really have the opportunity to meet others across the community, both on the commission and off the commission, who are really committed to human rights and equity in our community. I work on the prevention of mass violence and atrocities in my day job, but specifically thinking about how identity-based violence occurs and what the strategies are to build more peaceful communities, recognizing how identity is often weaponized for the sake of power. So that's a little bit about me, but I can't wait to meet you in person in the future.
And Liz.
Welcome, E. Can you all be able to hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good, thanks. Hi. I I live on the east side as well, and I'm a new commissioner, so welcome. And I received my degree at the University of Iowa in social work. My family and I left, and we came back. It's always like that. We got to get back to our family, to our community. My background is in immigration, resilience, and identity as well. Currently, I'm the DI director at the University of Iowa in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. And I too have two daughters in high school. They're twins, and they go to City High.
Great, great, awesome. Well, welcome. Very glad to have you on the commission.
Thank you, guys. It's really nice to meet all of you.
Great. Do we have a volunteer to read the Native American land acknowledgement?
I'll do it.
All right, thanks, Mark.
We meet today in the community of Iowa City, which now occupies the homelands of Native American nations to whom we owe our commitment and dedication. The area of Iowa City was within the homelands of Iowa, Meskwaki, and Sauk, and because history is complex and time goes far beyond memory, we also acknowledge the ancient connections of many other indigenous peoples here, the history of broken treaties, forced removal that dispossessed indigenous people of their homelands, was and is an act of colonization and genocide that we can't erase. We implore the Iowa City community to commit to understanding and addressing these injustices as we work toward equity, restoration, and reparations.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3, approval of the March 4th and March 26th meeting minutes. So our regular meeting as well as the special meeting for the RESJ grants.
I will move on a special meeting because I was present and so.
Second, all right. All in favor of approving the March 4th minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, and then do we have a motion for the March 26th minutes to be approved?
So move.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Minutes approved. Number 4, public comment on items not on the agenda. Commentators shall address the commission for no more than 5 minutes. Commissioners shall not engage in discussion with the public or one another concerning said items. Don't see anyone here or online, so we'll move on. Item number 5, correspondence. I think the only correspondence in the packet is related to the grant updates, so we'll address that in item 10. And Trey needs to get out of here, so we're gonna go to our updates on outreach and engagement by the police department.
Thank you all for having me. Appreciate it. So we're going to go a little bit backwards because if I understand right, Kevin was not here last time. I think that he had something with family and I was sick, so perfect storm there. So it doesn't look like, or at least my records don't show we did a whole lot of official things at the beginning of March, but we definitely did towards the end. On March 26th, Kevin met with a traveling group of Georgian citizens and spoke about the differences and sort of the similarities between the happenings with the LGBTQ community that's there in Georgia and as well as here. I don't know the specifics in terms of what they went over or anything like that, but I do know that they had probably about a 2.5-hour conversation together. So if you have questions on that, Kevin will definitely be able to answer because he spent quite a bit of time going over that with them. So on March 29th, was the end, and we wrapped up the peanut butter drive, and ourselves and the Johnson County Sheriff's Office donated 731 pounds of peanut butter and jelly to the community food storage area down in the Southside Neighborhood District. So that was awesome. I can't remember if that tops last year or not, but 731 pounds is quite a bit. So we were definitely stoked about that.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. But the one thing I do want to note about that is a lot, but they definitely need a lot more of the community support. Kevin and I were speaking about how important it is that we have that as a resource. So whoever's out there listening, just make sure that you keep supporting them because they really need the help. So
Awesome.
we are quickly approaching EMS camp. They did EMS camp last year. Basically what it is a condensed version of different subsets of public safety. So there's the fire department, there's EMS, there is police, animal control is there also. So basically 4 different departments working together to have a day camp. It's 2 days. I don't know exactly what the age groups are, but I'm pretty sure it's junior high, and then we have a high school as well. The dates on that are July 8th and 9th for the junior high, and high school is 11th and 12th. The actual date that registration opens is May 1st, so, and I believe it is free, so I don't think cost should be an issue with that. The first week of April, I went to CIT training, which is community intervention training. So basically using my words and stuff like that. It's a training that all of the officers also in the area are required to go to and required to attend. I learned a lot about kind of what our officers use and why it's beneficial. So if you guys have any questions on that, obviously you can ask me. We had actually quite a few more of these. I know last time I was here, I spoke about trying to get more into the elderly population to explain, different things to them. And we've had quite a few presentations for scam and fraud and abuse with that population. On April 6th, Kevin did a presentation for them at St. Mark's Men's Group. On April 10th, I did a presentation at the Vintage Cooperative, same presentation for scams and fraud. And then on April 10th, we did door hangers with CVI, which is the Community Violence Intervention over on the west side, kind of by City High, Sylvan Glen area there. I guess there was a shooting that happened over there. So we went out there with CVI, with Jess Lang, County Attorney's Office, and did some door hangers so that way if people had information, and then also to push Jen's goal, which is to reduce gun violence. So even though gun violence had already happened at that area, we were going out there basically to try and stop further retaliation or those type of things. And again, that's with Jess Lang and the Community Violence Intervention. Last thing to talk about is on April 14th, Kevin was over at the rec center for the Disability Health and Safety event. Our main role, in that was talking about the LOSS program and Project Lifesaver, just basically making people aware that it's something that we offer. So that's what we've been up to in a nutshell.
Great, thanks for the update. Any commissioners have comments or questions?
I just have a question.
Yeah.
On the EMS camp, you say July 11 and 12 is for high school. Is that for even outgoing out school or just?
I believe it's anybody that's within 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Okay,
Or,
9th, 10th.
excuse me,
Okay.
9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So I guess high school would be, yeah. But yeah, seniors are still allowed to go to that if that's your
Okay.
question.
I was really captivated by the article in the Gazette today about identity theft. Maybe you saw it.
I haven't personally, but
The officer from the university did such a great job to unravel this 30 years of identity theft.
I
Yes.
actually did hear about that one.
It was really
Yeah.
exceptional, and I'm sure that you guys are in that company as you understand fraud. So thankful for your
It's
work.
rampant. It's
As
very
broad as it
rampant.
is.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stuff.
Perfect.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, you guys have been busy.
Yeah. Good work, Trey.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
E,
Thanks,
nice to meet
Trey.
you.
All right. Okay, so before we move on to item 8, welcome Commissioner Kadura. Hi.
Hi, sorry for being
Oh,
late.
no worries at all, no worries at all. And normally I wouldn't say anything, but we have a new commissioner, so I thought I'd give you a chance to introduce yourself since we all had that opportunity,
Okay,
so,
sure.
yep.
Hello, my name is Viana Kadura, and I just got recently appointed to this position, I think, since October. Was it October? Yes, and I'm still learning too, and I'm just enjoying being in the company of those great people too, and I look forward to work with you as well.
I look forward to working with you as well. My name is Idris Abdullahi. I go by E.
KJ. Thank you.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
You as well.
Excellent. Okay. Agenda item number 8 is the funding request for the Coralville Asian Festival. This is in the packet, and this was tabled from our last meeting. And it was tabled for a couple things. I know we were wondering a little bit more about kind of what, what exactly the funding, the budget, what the funding was going for. There was also a question of, since this is a Coralville event, if it is appropriate for us to award funds to this group since it's not based in Iowa City.
What did you find out?
I didn't find out anything. Were we supposed to? I don't know. Stephanie, did we, or was it just more of a kind of question of if we? Okay. My understanding from last time was it was sort of a question of if we wanted to bend the rules, we could. But some of us were a little hesitant at that, so we decided to wait until this meeting. I don't know if we got any more information from the group as far as their budget. We did? Okay, all right.
Well, my question is, have you ever given, the Coralville, organizations before from this grant or not?
Roger, do you?
We have done, with the Coralville Pride, it was based in Coralville, but it was really inclusiveness of the entire, Coralville and Iowa City is kind of one thing. So the Asian Festival, yes, it's held in Coralville, but people from all over attend, a lot of people from Iowa City, so maybe the mistake is calling it the Coralville Asian
Right. Yeah. The Coralville Pride, was that this type of funding, or
It
was
was
that
they
from
had
the
the
city?
request
or
of type of funding
type
like
of funding like this?
I think we also had a table there representing HRC at one point, so.
Okay.
We funded houses into homes, and somebody observed that's Coralville-based. I feel really good about that, so I think that in this divisive time, it's important for us to support this. I'd recommend that we approve it. I mean, I move that we'd approve it, or
Yeah.
maybe I have lack of second.
My only thought is you bring up divisive time, and after being at the city council meeting presenting our grants, I'm a little more hesitant. But
I didn't hear that.
yeah, as we were fairly scrutinized for things. It wasn't particular to this issue, but when we do award funds, it seems to be. I don't want to open us up
Well,
to
I
any
made
any
a motion
criticism
hoping
as
that there
if-
was a second. There isn't, so maybe we don't have.
Well,
anything
we
to talk about.
didn't ask for
haven't
a
had-
second yet
yeah,
either,
we
so
haven't
yeah,
asked for a
we
second
can let it breathe and see.
I'm
Yeah,
just waiting for Stephanie to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we want
right.
to get information.
And we'll get that update too. Yeah.
I believe last year was the first Asian Fest in Coralville.
I think so in Coralville.
And it was a very successful event. It brought in people from many countries were represented, and their food from different country, and it was a successful event. It was at I think Morrison Park, and it was a very successful event. So.
Yeah. And to be clear, I think it's a great event, and
Yeah.
I obviously very much in support of it. I'm just
Yes.
afraid of us getting any backlash or anything for using Iowa City funds for something in Coralville. That's my only hesitation here. Yeah. And I wasn't
We're dealing
aware.
with stuff that I don't know anything about.
I wasn't aware of the precedent. I didn't know that we had funded Coralville Pride or other events like that too. If there's a precedent, then I'm.
It was, I think, at the IRL. So, and the reason we funded it because it was really the first of
Yeah, that Coralville Pride's pretty
that
new.
kind
Yeah.
event in Coralville. So we wanted to and support that, especially since we had some issue going on with Coralville at the time. So we really wanted to push that envelope a little bit.
So do the commissioners here keep track for who been awarded those ones in the previous years as well? Like, do you have a record if they got this one before or not?
I don't think they have.
I don't think
As
they
long as I've
have.
been in a commission, I don't think, well, that last year was the first they did, so I don't think they have come to us for funding.
Yeah, and, you know, I thought they had sent a response, but they didn't. I sent the email, which you can probably see on the right hand of your screen, said, "Good morning, can you please provide the following?" And you can see that there's no email trail past that, so there was never a response received.
Okay.
So you have, the only
Given
choice
any,
will
yeah,
be we
any
can
others, yeah.
We
I
can
just-
follow up and
Any, Kelsey or Liz, any comment, any comment from either of you online?
Well, where are they?
No,
Hold up.
not at this time.
No, okay.
Where
all
did they
right.
go? There we go.
There they are.
Okay.
All right, then there's a motion. Oh, go ahead, Kelsey.
No, no further comment. I think it sounds like we are still awaiting the information we had requested.
Yeah.
And isn't the event before your next meeting?
I believe
Yes.
so, yes.
The event is before our next meeting. You know, I think it's a great event. I know it's, you know, in Coralville, it's Iowa City funding, and they're asking for $250, right? Mark, if you still leave your motion on the table, I would second it.
All right. Motion to approve the funding request, seconded by Commissioner Lasala. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Agenda item number 9, Youth Awards, which are coming up on Wednesday, May 15th. And Stephanie, do you want to walk us through where you want us and when? And
Oh, goodness, it is coming up,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yes. So I believe there are just over 25 recipients this year, so a little smaller pool than you're probably used to. But the event is scheduled for Wednesday, May 15th at the Hilton Garden Inn. I would ask that commissioners arrive no later than 6. The dinner starts promptly at 6:30. The event will start at 7 with with brief remarks from the Vice Chair of the Human Rights Commission is how it's currently set up. If that doesn't work, let me know so we can edit the program agenda. And then the Vice Chair would introduce the Mayor, who will give very brief remarks. And then the Chair would introduce the honorees. And then Commissioner, and I just went by seniority, but if anybody, I mean, so I guess you guys can decide who you want to do the closing as a group. And so, but to make a long story short, the event should be over. The actual event should be over by, I would say, 7:20, 7:25, and then probably just another 10 minutes of pictures with the photographer and with the student honorees. I'm trying to think of what else. Yeah, I think that is, I'll get parking reimbursement passes so you don't have to pay to park to attend. As they say, dress to impress. And I think that's all I have.
I like the event because it's so full of energy. I like it, it's in the evening, not at 7 o'clock in the morning, where everybody's trying to look lively and happy. In the evening, these kids bring the energy, and they got to burn for what they're doing, and the food's always good.
The food is very
Just
good.
saying.
absolutely.
They do a really good.
The breakfast is good too, but, oh, yeah.
They can offer more variety, I think, with their dinner meals than they do with their breakfast.
I think it's a great event. It's been one of our most well-intended events. You know, kids come with their family and just recognizing the kids for what they're doing. It's amazing. So I always love it every year. So.
It is a fantastic event.
And I think everybody, has everybody participated except E, you might not have, Liz,
I haven't participated too. I participated.
John V,
in
you
the-
The
haven't?
breakfast. Yeah, John V, Liz, Viana
Not last time.
haven't.
Well,
yeah.
but
wasn't the other
she's
end.
been
Oh,
there,
but
so
you
she
were
knows.
on the
Yeah.
other side of it.
Yes,
Yes,
you
yeah.
were.
My daughter, she was there.
Yes.
Well, if anybody who
It
hasn't
was the first time I
attended or
went to the
participated wants to kind of see what it looks like, the video I can send you the video from last year, and I mean, gosh, it's pretty short and
It is
sweet, so
short,
it doesn't, I don't even know if it's a 15-minute video, but I'd be more than happy to send that out to everyone. And I don't have your name badge yet, but I will get it to you before the 15th, and then just as a reminder to all the rest of you to wear your pin, because I would ask that you greet the honorees and their friends and family as they arrive. So I think that's it. The rest I think I can handle through email with everyone.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
for all
Stephanie.
the work you do behind the scene to make it happen, Steph.
I'm trying to find the people, who does those balloon displays? You know, the not the ones on the
Steve
sandbag
Panther?
with
Right,
like,
the
I
like
want
the
like
arches,
the,
yeah.
like,
Steve
kind of-
Panther?
huh?
The old owner to Hamburg Inn, did he do it?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know who does.
Nobody knows who does those around, because we call Aero Rental and they don't do those, and so I'm trying to figure out, I see them at events here,
Yes.
but I just don't know where people are getting those balloons at, so, okay, I will do some more
I
research.
don't know if like Hy-Vee Floral or a floral
Oh,
shop
I never
might,
thought
maybe.
about them.
Yeah.
Okay. I will
Alright,
put
great.
that on my list.
So Kelsey's going to give the opening remarks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll present the honorees, and would that make Roger the closing? Is he the most
I
senior?
had John V. just.
Oh,
be-
perfect. Yeah.
But just because Roger's
I've
done
done a
the,
couple times.
All right, yeah. Everyone's tired of hearing from Roger.
no, I'm just trying to spread opportunities.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
All right.
I think John V will be great.
Absolutely, yes, for sure. Mhm. All right, looking forward to that. That will be excellent.
I'll be grading the yes.
Thanks, Stephanie. I'm sorry, could you just repeat what time you advised commissioners to arrive on that evening?
No later than 6?
Great, okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Perfect. Item number 10, Racial Equity and Social Justice Grant updates.
Gonna go back to 7 later, or?
We're going to go, oh, sorry, 7. Yes, yeah, 7. The Community Transportation Committee, they presented at our meeting last time, weren't able to attend tonight. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we can cross them off. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine, I'm just sorry they
Yeah,
couldn't
we
make it.
just wondering.
And one thing I didn't mention about the youth awards is if you want to bring someone, or someone's, we could probably accommodate 2 guests for every commissioner, but the main thing is just so I know, so I can get a proper count to them, so that they know how many seats to set up, and our event doesn't look, too large or too small, so,
And is this for the youth awards?
yes. So, yeah, if you could just, I'll send an email out with all this information, but if there's folks that, are near and dear to you that you want to bring, we can make that work.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so the grant updates are in the packet, starting, we lost page numbers. But towards the back there's a letter from DVIP. Explaining the reduction in their request.
Yeah.
So they actually, when we submitted our grants to city council, their amount was reduced because they didn't need as much, and that letter describes that.
And just for transparency, sorry to interrupt,
No, please.
I didn't catch that their event was like, I think, the Saturday following the approval by the city council. So their event technically has taken place and is completed. So that was just, I didn't catch how fast that turned around. So we did get them their funding so that they could keep pursuing and hold that event, but I just didn't catch that date until it was pretty close to about a week out.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if any of us did. Was that in their application? I
It was,
completely
but
missed that.
it was
Yeah.
easily kind of missed that it wasn't, yeah, so.
I
Okay.
don't remember it being in the application.
Yeah,
But
I know.
maybe, it might have
Maybe.
been, and we all missed it.
Right? It would think that one of us would have
Yeah.
registered somewhere, but maybe not with all of the information and everything that's in there. Houses into Homes has a letter also discussing the formats of their youth volunteer academy that we funded, I think for the past 2 years.
Last year.
Yeah. And then we have a report from last year's grantee, the Community Crisis Services and Food Bank.
Do we have to do anything? Do we need to vote on those letters? No, they just.
No, they're just
Okay.
required per the
Okay.
agreement to submit, and I did get a late report. I think I got it yesterday from the neighborhood centers of Johnson County that I'll just put in your packet for your May meeting because it
Okay.
came after the packet had printed, so.
Great. Is that everyone, or do we have all the reports, or are there some we're still waiting on?
So there's a few that have wrapped up and finished, and I think there's 2 organizations that we still are waiting on updates from,
Okay,
so.
Good.
all right. Okay.
Thank
Other questions, comments on the grants, on the grant update reports?
Based on an earlier comment you made regarding speaking with the city council about this, can you say more about that? How did it go? I didn't watch.
Okay, yes, yeah, I guess, yeah, this is our first meeting since then, isn't it? So, yeah. Kelsey and I presented at City Council our recommendations for the racial equity and social justice grants for this year. The bottom line is they were approved. There were several folks who attended the meeting to speak their concerns or protest that their organizations did not get a grant. It sounded, from my understanding, a lot of what they talked about, there was a misunderstanding of what the grant is and what the process is. I think it sounded like a couple of them were upset that we didn't grant them money because there was a impression that the work they do wasn't valued or, appreciated by the commission. In my remarks, as I presented those, I described our process and made it very clear. I thought that we had a lot of recipients. It was a hard decision to make who does and doesn't get the grant, and that I thought our process was fair. We have a rubric; it's objective. We go through that list based on the combined rankings, and then we also have the chance to look at the other. When we finish, what else is out there? Are there other grants that we need to discuss and things? A couple of the city councilors took issue with the process, didn't quite, the comment was, if I were making the decision, this wouldn't necessarily be the organizations that I would pick, which they didn't read through the materials either, right? So so the city council has decided.
City council said that.
The city council said that, yeah. The city council has decided to hold a separate work session for them to look at the process by which all commissions, not just ours, but all commissions award the grants. And to look at that process, and they didn't state a very super clear goal as to will they mandate that process or what the goal of that session would be, but they want to have a session where they look at the process by which all commissions award grants. That being said, they appreciate our time as volunteers and respected our decision and approved our recommendations. And I think an opportunity might be for us to reach out, and those of us on the Building Bridges Committee, this is probably something that we might look at, reach out to City Council and talk to them a little bit more about what our process is and if there's a way that we can help or provide input into that working
Appreciate that
session.
you'd be bringing voice from our commission.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's kind of the summary there. Now, Kelsey was also at the meeting. She has her hand up. So go ahead, Kelsey.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. I think that's a really good overview. I think too, I would also stress that the points that were raised were more about to the allocation of finite city resources, especially to organizations who might all be seeking taxpayer funds through the city to support their really great work. So the main reason I thought that the city council is going into a separate work session is to actually think about how city funds are used and what's possible for organizations across our community. So not necessarily something so specific with our process being wrong or needing to be fixed within the Human Rights Commission, but actually that there's more of a systems problem of groups in our community feeling like they're trying to do good work and they're not really finding the right venues or spaces within which to be receive funding for that work. So again, not necessarily a criticism of our process at the Human Rights Commission, but more about how all of the city grant mechanisms are functioning right now, if those are reaching people, and if not, what they can do about it.
Right. I mean, because as far as our, we ask them to self-report what other funding sources they have. I think, I believe it was Councilor Moe who said it would be good if, all the commissions had, here, and we got a list of here are where else this organization has applied, and we could see a official record of what money these organizations have received from the city, instead of just having them self-report it on the application.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Because we do ask if you've received city money.
right.
Unless Building Bridges has a report, I think our reciprocal relationship report relates very much to this, so I'll wait unless there's.
No, Kelsey, John V, we don't really have a report other than, this is what I think we're trying to aim for. So go ahead, Mark.
When Roger and I met this last Friday, I had in mind, maybe legislator Lindsay Jane from Dubuque. She gave an illustration of when a bunch of people stand in line, do you see the people at the front of the line? Do you ever look at the people at the back of the line? Which motivated me in our conversation that suggesting that when people apply for a grant, they're really seeking a relationship with the Human Rights Commission. And so there are 17 applicants that are doing social justice, racial equity work in Iowa City, but they didn't get a grant. So I'm suggesting, or we are suggesting, that we'd like to learn more about their work and what they're doing, how we can support them, and we think this begin a reciprocal relationship. So I've prepared, and Kelsey, I'm embarrassed, this is not an Excel spreadsheet, this is a table. But I prepared a table that shows you the names of the organization, the applicant, and the contact information. These are the groups that did not get a grant. And I think the yeoman share of this is for Roger and I, and perhaps E, if you're added to our committee, to contact these people. But we'd really appreciate all the commissioners taking an interest in this, that between the 9 of us, if each of us took 1 or 2, and with an idea that we'd want to get it done by September. But to be in contact with these people, what are you doing? How can we support you? It may not be dollars, but we can sure market you, show up for your activities. I'm bringing this as a recommendation. I'd be interested to hear your conversations, and also I'll shut up and let Roger talk a little bit.
No, I think you presented very well. The whole point of this, when we talk about reciprocal relationship, it's pretty much connecting with the many organizations doing the work. Last year, after the strategic plan, we wanted to focus on the people that received the grant. So everybody kind of had a liaison between human rights and the people that received the grant. So kind of moving a little bit deeper, especially this year, since just what you just reported that we had some people over there upset they didn't get the grant. Maybe we need to reach out to those that did not receive the grant and just start a conversation.
Yeah, you didn't get the grant, but you got us.
Yeah, just
Now-
start a conversation.
How many of these things do you have left, Stephanie?
Ooh,
do any of you keep it?
Yeah, I
That's
always
what
keep
I'm
mine.
Okay.
If a couple
Yeah,
years.
I don't know, maybe,
Two?
maybe, well, I have my copy.
And this is a bonus copy. I've got my copy.
Yeah, I don't know, there might be one more, I would have to look.
What I'm suggesting is before you contact somebody, you should probably read their application.
The
Yes.
applications, even if you don't have the hard copy, if you
We
go
have
to
to,
the
yeah.
City of Iowa City website, Racial Equity and Social Justice, the first thing on there is the grants, and it
Yeah.
has a link to every grant that was submitted in this last funding period. So there is an electronic copy that you could download as a PDF or just scroll through at your leisure.
And true to form with my executive experience, I have an idea, I don't have a plan for implementation.
That was going to be my next question. Yeah.
That's usually every visionary. They have an idea, but you rely on your detail people
If
to
you
come up
guys
with
look
the
at the
plan.
list and put your name beside them,
Right, I was thinking, I mean, there are 17 organizations and 9 of us. So we could pick two-ish. One person will do one, but the others can pick 2.
I like that idea. My other question is, are we also going to continue that relationship with the organizations that did receive the grant?
Yes, I think we should.
they're
Yeah.
carrying up, they have a responsibility to carry that torch to us, so we don't have to go find them. The neat thing is we get to bring them a check,
Yeah.
so that begins something.
Right. And I think I remember an earlier conversation where we talked about maybe this year assigning those to a committee instead of an individual. So that way, there are 3
sure you get
people
it
who
done.
can reach out to
Yes.
those.
Because we got 12.
Right, those 12. So we would have, 4 per committee that you would have your grantees.
That'd be easier.
And and then this group, maybe we each pick 2 as an individual to maybe reach out to.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be deep, it can just be, touching base. How did the process go for you? Any feedback for us? And how can we, the question is really, how can we support
Can
you?
we support you?
Yeah, we did not grant you the funding, but we have many ways. We have events all the time. We post it everywhere. We have a social media presence. We have the City of Iowa City presence. How can we promote some of your events in our arena so you can get
Right.
some more publicity?
I like that. Kelsey?
Yeah, I think that it's a fine idea to approach folks. I did want to mention that, in the philanthropic space, there is a really strong idea that if you are asking of people's time, that's really the most finite resource that they have, especially for nonprofit workers. And so just an awareness amongst all of us that, in some cases, the support that they need is financial. And so ensuring that we're not operating on false pretenses of, in the future, if you talk to us, there's money on the dot, that's something that I think we all need to be thoughtful of. In addition, for the needs that they have, are we prepared to connect them across the city? Because that's also something that our community groups in our community have expressed that they are working towards and that they want. And so, and fostering a non-competitiveness in our community too. So just ensuring there's a lot of groups that are actually liaising directly with a lot of the community groups, as well as including those that have reached out to us in the Racial Equity and Social Justice Grant. So I just have some questions about how we add to that rather than pull away from that if we did individual outreach, because I do think it's really important, especially because time is the most finite resource for a lot of those who are doing nonprofit work.
My point of view on that, appreciate Kelsey, that they spent a lot of time filling out the application, and when we don't get a grant, there's that sense that you got thrown away. And so I'm just looking at the list of applicants' names, I know 5 or 6 of these people. That would be easy for me to have a conversation with them.
Yes.
And it would be more a matter of, how can I support you? How can I join your initiative? And maybe that's over the bounds of what human rights commissioners should do. I just didn't want them to feel like they'd been tossed, because we do appreciate what they're doing.
I completely understand it, and I hear Mark, and what we have to be careful is now we're not asking them for anything. We're not asking them to do anything. I think it's just more having conversation, connecting back, because, yeah, we selected the people that will get the grant, they'll get their check, we'll come, we present it. But just connecting back to the people, say, hey, you know, sorry you didn't make it to the cut of getting the grant, but we'd like to know more about your organization. And and it's not about making a long, we're not asking them to do anything. We're actually just wanting that connection back, that reciprocal relationship that we're talking about. You know, I did manage nonprofit for 20-some years, and that's always the problem. When you don't get a grant, nobody reaches out. You just get the letter, you didn't get the grant. You know, sometimes that phone call will just confirm that, hey, you were not selected, but what else can we do? Oh, maybe you can just put thank you for the call, I appreciate it, and I'd like to talk about our organization at one of your meetings one day. We'll give them 10 minutes in our meetings.
Yeah.
So it's just highlighting them somehow. I don't want to get to the point of, we're not asking them to do anything. That's the time that nonprofits don't have.
Right.
But it's recognizing them and putting them in a spotlight. Every nonprofit can appreciate that because they don't have the budget for all those marketings and things like that. So,
I agree. I mean, I was thinking of also of just like you said, maybe if you had a standard email which says that this will not impact whether you connect with us or not, does not impact your future applications.
Not at all.
But we offer it to them, which means if they don't want to do it, they can say no.
Yeah.
And or they cannot respond, which is okay. But if they want to, then we at least offer that.
Liz, I know you've had your hand up for a minute.
Yes, hi, thank you. I guess the other thing too, putting myself on the other side, one question I would have is why didn't I receive a grant? Like, is there anything else, anything I can do better? You know, how can I have improved? And I think that just to be mindful that yes, we'll have talking points or maybe even a letter to guide us, but I'm sure that might come up. And do we have sort of insight on how we want to approach that question?
So some of the applicants did ask for feedback, and I think I have everybody's rubric. Maybe I'm missing one person. And so when they ask for that, we just scan their specific page in each rubric, if that makes sense. So, so some have. In fact, I would say maybe 4 organizations have. So I think you could individually talk about why you scored a certain way, but there's also actual, something physical that they could look at that would apply to everybody that may give them more indicators without making it too personal.
yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, and you have the rubric, I don't, that I did, so I'd have to ask for mine, I think.
Unless you wrote your name on it, we're not giving them to them like, oh, this is Doug's, this
Yeah.
is, John B. Like, they're
Everybody's,
just.
yeah.
So I mean, we have them, I guess you could identify yours by your writing, but
Well, but
other
it's
than that-
conceivable, I'll just take if I went to see Asma Ali about the Arab Language Institute, I could ask you to give me the rubric comments
Yes,
prior
yep,
to my
mhm.
visit.
Yep, we scan them and actually make them into a PDF, so.
Thanks.
Yep.
And the thing about it, we have to keep in mind, we had like $400 and some thousand in requests, and we had literally $100,000 to give away. So we were never gonna fund every project
Right.
and satisfy every project. Yes, we have done a good job the last couple of years promoting our grant. We've done an excellent job, and more people now are aware of our grant. So yes, the request will keep growing. That's why we're also looking into city council as they maybe not liking the process to also think about adding more funding to this because the need is there. So I think we have done a good job of promoting the grant. So we will see more requests. So
I did also have a question. So kind of going back to Stephanie and the rubric and, so yeah, there's gonna be like a growing request for the grant. There's only a set amount that can't be distributed.
Yes.
Now, there can be times where, maybe not all the organizations that apply, but a majority or a handful of the organizations that apply might all, fit or might all meet the criteria of the rubric. So, and not all of them would be able to get it, and some of them might be asking for feedback. Those type of organizations, we might not have feedback for them because, they fit the requirements within the rubric.
Mm-hmm.
How would, what would our approach to that be?
I've talked to somebody, the rubric that was used this year is no different than the rubric that was used last year.
Yeah, it's the same.
And it could even be the one that was used the year before that.
Yep.
But it's the same rubric from last year. There was nothing new about the process this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
it's the same rubric that we have used
Yeah, yeah.
since we modified a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
we
it's been a consistent.
simplified it because it used to be cumbersome. It used to be very confusing. So
Well, and the training has been very effective. It's available online.
Yeah.
You can Zoom it.
So, yes, people can meet the rubric because each of us are reading those applications with a different lens. And we're scoring it with a different lens. So when we send all of our score to Stephanie and it comes with the ranking, we really don't have much else to do but discuss the ranking that it came in. And because we have 9 commissioners and we score things differently. Somebody I could have given 100 and Doug give them a 10, that will bring their score down a little bit. But it depends on how Doug is reading the application and what is that mean to you when it comes to social justice and racial equity. So I have to be okay with it. Hey, this is my score. And when it comes to the global number, the organization that I thought would be the top fund getter did not get it. I have to be okay with that because we're never going to be able to satisfy every request that we get. So,
I'll go back to the proposal that
Yeah.
Roger and I had this idea. And E, if you're on our committee, it's your idea too, wink, wink.
He's already inviting you.
It's, I thought it was a good idea to see if all of the commissioners would help us in our effort toward a reciprocal kind of relationship with the applicants. Because I've been a shepherd of a large flock of 2,000 people, I always worry about the ones that I don't see. And that's sort of like this. So,
My question would be how we execute this, right? One thought I have is if the other 2 committees split the organizations that received the grant and your committee focused on the ones that didn't to establish that reciprocal relationship. That's one suggestion, but what would you think about kind of taking this back and coming back in May with, in May with here's how we see this working out?
this one
What do you
came
think
out
about that?
because we had coffee and lemon bundt cake.
So it's an opportunity for you to get coffee and
we're
chocolate
going to
bundt
have
cake
more
now.
coffee
Yeah,
and
see?
lemon bundt cake. And we only get those when we
We'll
meet
teach
them
you how to eat
March.
and drink, Eddie. Yeah, because I'm looking at, then there's 6 commissioners that get to call on 12. Okay, and then there's 3 of us that get to call on 17.
But we can also,
We can work this out.
We can
We'll come
work-
back
Right.
with
We'll
plans.
come back.
Kind of, whatever seems kind of equitable, or maybe even a couple options that we can talk about and decide next time.
we can also do email sending
We
out,
absolutely could. We
so
could,
please-
if that's the answer, we have an email template that goes out to the folks that didn't, saying, thank you for your application. We want to establish, however that looks. But
Is
yeah.
1, 2, 3, would you like to connect with us by coming to speak to our meeting? Like to connect with us by, talking a little bit on the phone? So we can give
Yeah.
the option. then
Yeah,
go from
I think
there.
we all think it's a valid
I
idea. I
wanna go
just want to
back
see
to
how
more
we
the
how we do
purpose of
it. Yeah.
It's not like me showing up at the Arabic Language Institute and say, you know, I was really pulling for you. I thought you were the best of all, and I'm really sorry I didn't get anything. That's not it. I want to know, what are you doing? How can I help you? We want you to keep doing what you're doing. Or, did you find a van? How's that working out for you?
Yeah.
Well, but my
But-
thought only you have to be ready for a backlash. Like, you know, they haven't been granted, and they hold maybe grudges against you.
That's possible.
So
Yeah.
you have to be ready, you know,
Because
for
there are a
the
couple,
outcome as
there are
well.
a couple names on this list I'm looking at, and
Yep.
I know that
I did
that's what you're
Shepherd-
going to
I did the
get.
Shepherd thing for 46 years, yeah.
And I think you may just kind of, I don't know, it's on the pending council work session list, so I don't, you know, it could be in June, it could be in August, I'm not sure, but, you know, I presume either staff or commission representatives will, I would think, either have the opportunity to write a memo correspondence or to actually be at the table. And I think maybe once everyone hears the same information, you know, that may clear the air too. So I'm not sure everybody has received the same information, knows the same information, knows what the concerns are in the commission's response or, you know, process. So, you know, I think once the council does that, that might assist kind of in building relationships too, because if for nothing else, it will change your entire system, and you can say, hey, look, it's all new next year, you know, so you might just kind of want to see how, I don't know, it's a pending list could like literally, it could be June or it could be like September, so I just don't know, but I know that yours and a few others, you know, they're going to have to be mindful of when those start being available, and I know Commissioner Priest had talked about moving the date up because he wasn't a big fan of the time of the year when you're reviewing them. And so that's something that I will let, you know, at least the CMO's office know so that,
Okay.
so that they know if you guys are wanting to roll it out sooner in the fall, then it probably needs to be bumped up on the pending work session list so that you can plan around that.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can take it back, tweak it out a little bit, and wait to also see what Stephanie can find out about if the work session will be sooner or later.
Okay. Excellent.
See, you're new to this, but you saw how big that packet is that I showed.
Don't scare them.
No, what I want is, I'm trying to inspire you, that there's 29 applicants for this money. They're impassioned about it, and it's our responsibility to read each one and rank it. So it's, you know, it takes a lot of time. I would say 7 or 8 hours for me, maybe less or more for others. So we really did arduous work and paid very much attention and had a special meeting. And I always feel good about that when
Yeah.
we get back. I'm sorry we get pushback.
You know, when it comes to funding, you will always get pushback because everybody's expecting to get the funding. And yes, you can fund every project. And that's not just for our commission. You know, the Home and Community Fund committee deal with that all the time. You know, so yeah, there is not enough funding to go around all the great work going on with, you know, nonprofit partners out there. At the same time, because funding has been so hard for a lot of those nonprofit organizations, many of them tend to rely on this city funding and it becomes part of their budget, which it's not supposed to
It's
be.
not supposed to, right?
So, but that's what it is. Because if you pull every city fund out of many of our community nonprofit, many of them will collapse. So they rely on funding from the city, funding from the county. They get to City of Coralville and city, just so they can get a little bit to do what they do. So I understand, you know, you get some pushback. I always put my best foot forward. So when I'm doing this, I'm really doing it to the best of my ability. So, and also understanding that I can't please everybody. So if there is pushback, I'll take it, and I'm okay with it because I put my best work forward. So.
I also did want to kind of build up on what Mark said.
Make sure you're speaking into the mic.
Sorry, sorry about that. I also wanted to build up on what Mark said, reaching out and trying to figure out what can we do to help them. Like, let's say if you did go to the Arabic language institution, you wanted to figure out what can you do to help them. I feel like a great way to also look at it is why do they need the funding to begin with, and how can we, like, a lot of organizations, they'll need funding for events, resources, all these type of things. Now,
That's all in their application, yeah, but it's good to listen to it and know it.
yeah, and helping them to, I guess, obtain those resources or what they needed the funding for in an inexpensive way would also be a great way to help them.
Yes, and that's also an area that we have to be careful, say, how can we help you? Because we don't have any blank check of writing checks. So when I go, I say, how can I help you? You didn't get the funding. What else can the commission do besides the funding to? Because if it was the funding, we would have given you the funding. We don't have that. So we have to be careful how you present those things. So we're looking for feedback. We want to learn more about your organization because most of those organizations, we learn a little bit about them through the application, but that's not really what they do. We want to learn more. We want to invite them to things that we can do for them
Well, and
that
we
doesn't
want-
involve.
We want them to keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
And so we're in the bleachers cheering, or we're showing up at their event, or we're available with questions.
And along with that, to Kelsey's point, time is finite, right?
Yes.
And their time, but also there's only 9 of us.
Yeah.
And so,
And
yes,
we-
we want to help, but we can't
Our time is
commit
also
everyone
finite.
else's
Yes.
time,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's good. You guys kind of look through this. What do you think this looks like? I think all of us think it's a good idea. Just how does it look? What are we doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the other side of that, the Building Bridges Committee, I know we want to work with City Council on this too, and what they envision for the process and how we can move forward.
Yes. Thank you.
Great. Breaking Bread, Dr. Liz, Viana, do you guys have an update?
Well, since Dr. Liz is going to be leaving soon, if she's here, she can speak right now before she leaves.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. I hope that you're doing well today.
I am. Thank you. Yeah, so we are planning to meet next week, and I feel like you have this meeting is helping us outline some emerging next steps with some of with the list we're looking at with folks that we could reach out. And I know we're thinking about how to do that, but I think that might be our goal.
Yeah, so hopefully by next meeting, we can report back exactly what we're working on or having a vision, maybe, another vision for the commissioners here, and we'll
Great.
update you.
Okay.
Awesome. Great. All right. And then for our new commissioner, there are 2. Did Sylvia ever pick a committee?
I don't see her name
I
anywhere.
don't see her. Yeah. No.
she's been at a meeting.
And she hasn't been. Yeah. So okay.
Is she going to continue on the commission?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I didn't know if we had an attendance rule.
You
Yeah,
do.
we do.
It's in the bylaws.
It is.
In order to enforce it, you would have to make a recommendation to city council. So the commission doesn't have the authority on its own. It would have to be a recommendation to the city council.
But before we even go there,
But before we go
usually
there.
the chair will have a conversation
For
with
sure. Yes.
the
Yes.
person who's having
Right.
attendance issue.
Yeah.
Like
We're not just gonna boot her.
we
No,
had
yeah.
one last time, and the person decided to leave. So
Okay.
yeah. So
All right.
it's just a friendly.
Yes, yes. But where I was going was our new commissioner, we have 2 committees that have an open spot. So you can take a look through this strategic plan, the committees are all kind of described in there. And then, just let us know if you want to be on reciprocal relationships or breaking bread. And you can Stephanie, is it okay if he just emails you and lets you know and
Yeah,
then?
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I
Great.
was also thinking, I mean, I noticed that all the people who've been on this commission for more than a year are in the same committees and the newer people. So, Liz and Viana are on Breaking Bread. So is there something that we could do to support you? I mean, I just wanted to ask that and extend that support. Because I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't have anybody who's been
Yeah.
there before.
I truly appreciate it. Hopefully, when I meet with Dr. Liz, and we have a plan, of what, or a vision for what we're gonna be doing next, hopefully we can reach out, if we need any assistance
Yeah.
or help or guidance. So I appreciate, thank you.
I was on the Breaking Bread committee before my
Yeah.
new appointment.
I was too.
That's why I thought you're on my committee, but
Oh, right.
I got confused.
Yeah, and that's a good point. So like I might suggest reciprocal relationships since Roger and Mark have, been on the council or on the commission longer. So, but completely your decision.
Yeah.
I also
just
think knowing your interests, you would like it.
read the strategic plan, see where those areas are, and make the decision. Do not let Mark, even though he is convincing with those cake, lemon bun cake.
Oh, that committee
And
has
coffee.
coffee and bun cake. I mean, who wouldn't want to join? Yeah.
Mark is making this the subcommittee seem very interesting.
One of the things I learned is that a lot of times I'd want to meet with someone, and I'd say, I'm retired, flexible, you name the place and time, I'd never hear back. So what I learned with Roger is, come to my house at 10 o'clock and we'll talk. And it worked great. And then
Yeah,
I
show
said,
up.
and we'll have coffee and bundt cake.
Hey,
So you'll find my house if you're on my committee.
Yeah, when I was on Breaking Bread,
isn't
we
it
met
that
at Big
bribery?
Grove. So, yeah.
Doesn't sound like you have.
as long as you don't put a price.
Great. Agenda item 12 then, staff announcements. Stephanie, do you have anything?
Not that I can think of, but thank you
Okay.
for the opportunity.
All right, thank you. Agenda item 13, commissioner announcements. Commissioners shall not engage in discussion with one another concerning said announcements. And Kelsey, I know you are leaving us soon, so if you want to go first.
Oh, thanks, Doug. I don't have my list prepared. You guys know I usually have a little bit of a list, but no, I think there is some activity at the United Nations, but also around the world in the lead up to what's called the Summit of the Future later this year, which is the UN Secretary General's initiative to really think about how we reach the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Many of those goals are already off track. And so there will be some activities through May and into the summer related to that. I'll try to remember to flag those and share those with the group too, or ask Stephanie to share around things, because I know our community is really actively engaged, especially on sustainability and violence reduction related goals. And there's a great opportunity for cities as well within those goals and SDG 5. Otherwise, I am going to jump. I'm in Canada visiting family at the moment, but it's really great to see you all, and have a great rest of your meeting.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Kelsey.
All right, Dr. Liz, would you like to go next? Oh,
Sure. I don't have much of an update. I actually am in recovery and I've been in bed
Oh, no.
getting, well, but I will sure to have a better update for our next meeting.
We like commitment. Thank you for being here.
absolutely. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Great. And for those of us here in person, do we want to just, Roger, do you want to start and we'll just go down the table?
I do not have anything.
Oh,
After that discussion
right.
today,
Okay.
we're good.
First of all, I'm on call at my church for emergencies, and the phone rang, and I had to deal with it because it was my granddaughter at Luther College. I'll call you later. So, I went to a training last Thursday provided by the Human Rights Commission. Why are they so loud? It was conflicts in cultural context. And Sunday Goshett was the teacher. It was very informative. It was 2 hours. It was really rapid fire. I took a test beforehand. One of my reliefs was that Orville Townsend, a former Human Rights Commissioner, was there for the training, and he and I landed in the same spot with this. And I thought, well, it's a couple old guys that just, we're old, we want to get it taken care of. We don't want a bunch of emotion, just let's do it. But we learned there's a whole lot of people that deal with life differently. Then I had this may not seem relevant to you, but one of the things I'm very concerned about in America today is Christian nationalism. And I want to bring it to a stop. I think there was a wonderful article in the Gazette on Sunday by a pastor, retired pastor from Waterloo, about how Christian nationalism is a lot like what happened in Nazi Germany under the direction of Adolf Hitler, and so we want to get in the way of that. So last week, I was at a meeting where my bishop spoke, and to my surprise, she told old pastors, you don't need to worry about being relevant. You just need to talk about Easter. I took that as a slap in the face and a punch in the gut. Because, as you see, I'm here, determined to be relevant. And I think she was wrong. So when she was the guest preacher at our church this last Sunday, I went to a different church. and heard a relevant preacher.
Yes.
But I do get the vision. I just love it when people like Kelsey and the rest of you are here to get my feet on the ground and have a plan. So,
Yeah.
thanks.
We love having you here, Mark. You keep us moving.
Because I got cake, man.
And the cake.
Commissioner Kadura.
Yes, well, I just read something that relates maybe somehow to what you did. I know that we're not supposed to comment, but it was saying that that I will not share my table with somebody who shakes my hand in the right and stabs me with his left.
Thank you.
Yes. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, for an update, it has been, March been a busy, very busy month for me and for the Miriam Girls Club and for our congregation, the mosque. We hosted many iftars, like breaking of the fast. We did one for our MGC girls with, for our sisters and our young ladies. We did another one for the Muslim Student Associations at the University of Iowa. We did another one with the West High School and the Board of Education and the superintendent and the principal of West High School. So that was first of a kind event that is held within a school, and it was a formal one where, you know, the educators
Yes.
were invited and things. And it made history, like, you know, everyone was so excited. We heard so much feedbacks, you know, positive feedbacks from the parents. Most of them, they agreed that for the first time ever, we felt that we were being seen and
Yep.
heard, and we are visible and we are respected for who we are. Like, you know, sadly, maybe it's a fault from our community too, that we did not proceed, you know, way beyond, you know, before then, you know, to do other things and be visible within the community. But it just a heartfelt, you know, event that, you know, just to see some of the Board of Education members there and the superintendent and everyone. And the students were excited to perform their prayer, to eat, to break bread with them, you know. So what we did there is breaking bread while building bridges. Yeah, so we got a bonus. What else? Great thanks to you, to Mark Priest, for, you know, for the Kerber Heart Association.
Yeah,
For providing the AED kit for our mosque, you know, at a low cost.
and we got you
And-
some CPR training.
And we got the training too as well last week, you know. Some of our community members attended, and females and males, and I was one of them, and it was really helpful and beneficial to all of us. I was with Stephanie at the Rec Center. We're doing the table, what's called the Disability Health and Safety Expo. So we had our inaugural table, and it was fun, you know, being there with Stephanie. So I learned a few things, and it's always, you know, helpful just to, you know, to be knowledgeable of our resources within the community that I never heard of before, and always relating this to my community, and just to share things with them, what we know. We did our holiday on April 12th. We had our Eid party
Yeah,
for the whole community at the Mercer Park. We had more than 600 people in attendees. It was really fun. It's always just with so much
Days ahead. Yeah.
with so much, you know, hurtful things going on around us in the world, and our hearts are shattered, and we're just feeling down all the time. It was just, you know, like a nice, you know, time to exhale a little bit and see our children, you know, joyous and, you know, just giving them the life that they deserve. And at that moment, we not forget our, you know, brothers and sisters back home who are suffering and who barely surviving. But it was a needed event that, you know, it's about healing and just feeling that, you know, we stand together and we are in this and we have to work and keep living, you know, and provide a living for our children as well. The March, you know, the Coralville Food Pantry meal in March 22nd was successful too. We had more than 570 people attending the event with so many tables with diverse food and everything. The Coralville Library, they did a great job by extending their hours, you know, 1 more hour for us because we were fasting.
Yeah.
So, you know, so truly appreciate it and for their kindness. So much gratitude toward them for always, you know, considering us and thinking about our needs and, you know, trying to provide us with what's missing. I'm gonna be showing a movie next Tuesday at the Coralville Library, since it's a Arabic National, the Arab American Heritage Month, which is in April. So it's late, but I have decided to do it on Tuesday. So it's gonna be from 5:30 to 6:30. It's about, you know, screening a documentary called, shall I give the name from now? So are we gonna go watch it? It's called Real Bad Arabs.
Real bad.
Real Bad Arabs, yes, REEL. It's about, you know, to combat, you know, the anti-Arab bigotry and just to challenge the stereotype and prejudice, you know, against Arabs, you know. And it's an old documentary, but it's up to the point. Like, you know, it was made in 2006. But I hope that some people, when they watch it, they question themselves and they see the resource of what got into here, the Western world, to hate Arabs that much and to stereotype them and to hold so much grudge against them. So I hope that you can find the time to attend. I know it's, you know, the booking sometimes, the schedule of open rooms and things kind of hard, so that's what we got, and we have to do it on Tuesday. May 4th, we're going to be participating with NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, at the walk, in Terry True Blood. So I'm going to have my girls, you know, the Miriam Girls Club, doing different activities, helping out through the event. So hopefully we'll get a chance to walk too. So if you join us there, you'll, you know, if you go there, you will be there.
Was that at 10?
It starts from 8 to 12.
Boy,
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's most of the things we got, yes. So I hope to see you.
All right, great.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, was it last Friday, attended the gala, the 50th anniversary gala for the Neighborhood Centers of Johnson County. That was a great night. Lots of great people, you know, seeing some familiar faces, meeting some new folks. They had a lot of really cool silent auction items. The food was unreal. It was so good. Oh, it was fantastic. Got all dressed up. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Earlier in the month, had a chance to meet here with the delegation from Georgia, and Mark was there as well, to talk about LGBTQ rights in the former Soviet Republic of Georgia. My takeaway from that was just the similarities in the struggle for rights there, and the progress they've made, but you know, every step of progress always has a backlash, and you know, like we are seeing now, you know, they're also seeing that as well. So it was really interesting to hear about, you know, kind of the progress they've made since the fall of the Soviet Union, you know, their independence, and then, you know, they have, you know, there's non-discrimination in the Constitution, but you know, just like here, people find ways to still express their bigotry and discrimination. So, yeah, it was a very interesting conversation. And then as far as upcoming events, Monday, it's a little early this year, but Monday is Rainbow Graduation at the University of Iowa. So 4:30 in the afternoon at the Old Capitol Senate Chambers. Little bit of a, I help plan the event usually, and the Pride Alliance Center at the university lost their director this year. She took another position at the University of Minnesota, and because of the study and the Board of Regents directive on diversity, equity, inclusion at the university, they've been unable to hire a replacement. There's a hiring freeze at the university for any position related to DEI. So they're trying to find resources from other areas to kind of help out. So, the fact that we even still have a rainbow graduation this year is great. So it is open to the public and free. So if you are able on Monday afternoon, it's always a really cool ceremony to see, all the different people with different gender expression and different sexualities come together and celebrate their achievement on their graduation from the university.
Seems like a small space. Can you-
It is a bit. It's usually full. There were, and this is one of the other really kind of fun stories of Rainbow graduation is it started around 2000, 2001 with like one or two honorees, because it's voluntary, right? If you're graduating, you're invited to this ceremony. Last year, I think there were over 50. So it is, it keeps growing and growing. So yeah, still at the old Senate chamber, but who knows? Maybe in the next couple of years they'll outgrow that because it has been pretty full the past couple of years. That's all I have.
So that's the 29th?
Yes.
Yes.
You said it's,
Monday.
Yeah, Monday the 29th, 4:30. All right. John V?
Yeah. Winding up the semester, this semester was also doing therapy for the free telepsychotherapy training clinic, which is a good model and does free therapy, provides free therapy services. And I think I'm one of the ambassadors of the RESJ grants because I told them to apply next year for the amazing work that they do and offer students to learn and practice in psychotherapy and also have people, especially from rural Iowa, be able to attend where a lot of places don't have therapists nearby. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. I look forward to the Youth Award. I find it really inspiring. So, exciting to see young people working towards human rights, advancement of human rights. And
Similar to John V, just finishing up and wrapping up the semester. Gonna go into my senior year. These past couple months, I've been working on a company that works on, creating educational and engaging content when it comes to recycling. We have all these recycling and waste management companies, but we still see trash on the floor. Yeah. We figured that it was due to the lack of education and the lack of, the lack of education and the lack of accessibility to recycling bins. So we're mainly focused on just trying to create that educating and engaging content, as well as creating a system that makes recycling more efficient. So that's kind of what I've been working on these past couple months, and something that I also have upcoming. As far as anything else, I think that's about it.
All right. Great. Okay, then that is our last agenda item. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.